Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And welcome to my summer of sequels. With Marc Webb's Amazing Spider-Man, it leaves us with a lot of plot holes, as well as a lot of cliffhangers. And of course, they are going to push out a sequel for a movie like that, but that movie also leaves us with a lot of plot holes and cliffhangers. So, without further ado, hopefully I can get through this sequel without you-know-who showing up.
What are you trying to do with my sequel without me?
What happened to your suit?
I had a long night with Gwen.
But she's dead. This is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Our sequel begins with Peter's dad destroying all of the spiders and trying to delete his information and recording a video for the future Peter before replaying scenes from the first film. We jump to a plane where Peter's parents are betrayed by the other man on the plane, and during the scuffle, Parker's mother is shot. His father tussles with the other man, trying to finish the information's upload.
My movie then goes to the present where a car chase is going on and I quickly do my thing and step in. When the car almost hits a pedestrian, I save his life even though he starts rambling about being a nobody. All of the explosive vials are trying to get away from me, but I do everything I can to stop it. Unfortunately, one of them gets away and I get a ride from a cop. My lovely Gwen calls me and I get a weird vision of her father.
Are those sirens?
No.
Peter?
No.
Peter?
No sirens. No.
Peter. What is happening? Peter.
As Gwen is doing her speech, Spider-Man quickly saves a father and daughter from being hit by a bus and taking down the person responsible for the whole event, played by Paul Giamatti. At Peter's graduation ceremony, Gwen questions if his hero-ness was involved in the car chase. As Gwen is headed back to her family, Peter has another flashback of Gwen's father's final request. So my question is, why? That had nothing to do with it. But my question is, why are you purposely ignoring Gwen's father's request?
Cause I'm an asshole.
And you're dating Gwen anyway.
Cause that's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. That's gonna suck when you grow up.
When your girlfriend just dies. Shut up and finish the review.
Okay. As I turn emotional at the date we are supposed to be having, I argue with Gwen about not following through with my promise, and my dumbass eventually breaks up with her. We then get a short montage of me doing amazing things, while people over the radio bash the hell out of me saying I'm a bad guy. We then meet my disturbing stalker who is having fun talking to himself.
Whoa, look who's here. Spidey. How was your morning? Aces, Max. Aces. I've been out saving the world. Protecting everyone.
I'm sorry, but Jamie Foxx is kind of disturbingly creepy before...
Kind of?
Kind of.
Kind of? Motherfucker's cuckoo in the forehead, man.
He's obsessed with you.
So I'm gonna be fucking worn out for his arrest. It comes near my ass.
He just wants you to have cake with him.
I don't want his cake. That is some cake I do not want, especially with them chocolate frosting.
The cake is a lie.
No! Potato Gladys.
At Oscorp, Gwen runs into Max in the elevator, and they talk about him being saved once by our hero. We jump to Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan, who visits his dad, who is clearly on his deathbed, and learns that the disease taking his father is a genetic problem and that Harry will eventually catch it himself. His father hands him a small device. Back at Oscorp, as everyone is leaving, Alistair Smythe has Max stay to continue working, but of course, everyone is a dick to him, and because of it, an accident happens, creating our villain.
During a meeting, Harry argues with his father's employees and takes a Felicia and makes her the boss of everyone else. I decide it's time to make some time for my lifelong friend, but end up only having a really awkward conversation that eventually turns into our bromance. Me and Harry reminisce about the past, present, and our future, while Harry's Oscorp employees spy on us like a bunch of tools. Max comes back to life at the morgue.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Our movie turns into Twilight as we begin our back and forth romance as our two lovebirds meet up and have banter back and forth as Max is seen walking towards the big city. During their talk, Gwen reveals that she may be expecting a scholarship to England. Before Peter says anything, though, he rushes into action as his spider sense warns him of the danger about to happen. As Max is going through his imbalances, Spidey tries to calm him down, and when a sniper shoots him, his rage takes over and we see a slow-motion view of our hero's mind at work.
Lie to me!
No, I'm trying to help you. Let me help you.
Now it's time for me to light my candles!
As I swing a hydrant at Electro, I almost get hit in the process. Electro decides it's time to recharge, and through it creates an EMP that destroys the city. But the joke is on him as I spray him down with the water hose, weakening him. As I lay and contemplate things, I decide it's time to figure out more about the suitcase my dad left me.
Question for you, Spidey.
What is your favorite color?
Okay, Monty Python, that's not what I was talking about.
Well, then I might have an answer for you, dearie.
Have you ever actually stopped to ask your aunt what your parents actually did? Or did?
She told me he was a farmer, and she was the miller's daughter.
Well, first off, she probably lied about that. And second off, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Bug bites.
This is why I was hoping you wouldn't show up for this review.
Spider senses. I know everything.
While picking at a scab, Harry drops the device his dad gave him, finding secrets of his father, including the goblin suit and videos of his and Peter's parents working together. Over at Parker's, we see him experimenting on his web shooters and failing miserably. Harry calls Peter and sets up a meeting to show him the videos. Harry says he thinks the answer is in the blood of Spider-Man.
While I try to figure out of giving away my identity to Harry, Gwen is hacking the Oscorp files to find anything she can get on Max Dillon. I promise a desperate Harry that I'll find my other half for him. Gwen runs into me into the hall and we end up hiding in the closet. She tells me what's going on with Max as I update her on Harry. We then come with a plan to have involving a little slapstick to help Gwen get away.
I'm so damn it! I just spilled a hot latte all over your. I didn't do that. Oh, and you too. I'm sorry. Stay right there. Sir? Just stay right there. Wait. Hey, stop! All right, on your way. I'm sorry. I'm all thumbs today.
Why did you just heel toe?
When I was a little girl, my grandmother put me into the ballerina classes, and I just wanted to show how I play.
Don't ask
I
stupid
think the
questions if you don't want the stupid answers.
I think the only person more annoying than you is Deadpool. At Ravencroft, we see that Electro is being held in a containment field, and the doctors are complete idiots as they surround him with electricity. Our villain does a typical speech of the world being darker once he gets free. Peter walks in on his aunt, finding his wall of mementos as they talk about secrets and his aunt's feelings about everything. May finally breaks down and tells Peter that his father was being set up to make him look like a traitor to the U.S.
After my aunt's words, I decide to pay Harry a visit, but I still tell him I can't give him any of my blood because I think it could eventually kill him. He is, of course, does not take this very well. I swing into Gwen and begin rambling on about everything, not knowing she was headed to her interview for her scholarship. I am so distraught with my feelings, I tear down my wall and smash my dad's calculator, revealing a bunch of subway tokens.
Felicia tells a depressed Harry that the spider's venom has been extracted for a hidden thing called the Special Project. Harry quickly dives into finding more information on Electro and other projects. Harry's worker, of course, has been setting things up to have Harry take the fall, and he sees himself out the door. Peter then goes with his hunch on the bus tokens and learns a secret his father was keeping from him. So, is that gonna be like your new spider cave or like your hidden bus of justice? Oh!
As I am looking at all the information my father left me, Harry heads to Ravencroft to let Electro free and convinces him to help me get back at Oscorp through their hatred of little old me. Electro escapes killing all of the guards in the process and putting Kafka in the containment. When I get out of the subway, I get a voicemail from Gwen telling me that she got the scholarship and plans on going to England earlier to make our breakup easier.
Electro and Harry waste no time heading to Oscorp and demand that the vice president take him to special projects. And the one thing I have to say is the effects and visuals to me actually make it feel like I'm watching a comic come to life in my hands. Gwen eventually disobeys Spider-Man's warnings and shows up anyway. They come up with a plan to overcharge Electro, and it works.
I become a super corny love sap as I leave a message in webbing for Gwen and I tell her how I truly feel about her, but our romance is eventually interrupted by the city's power being shut off. As the city goes ballistic, Gwen helps me come up with a way to stop Electro and I head to face my foe.
Now I'm gonna take back what is rightfully mine. I will control everything, and I will be like a god to them.
A god named Sparkles?
Really? A god named Sparkles?
Hey, you leave Sparkles the gerbil alone.
The gerbil?
Yeah, you better treat the gerbil with some goddamn respect before I shove him straight up your ass.
As long as you use a tube. Ow!
Disrespect Sparkles. Dick.
The fight with Electro goes back and forth with banter from Spidey, of course, and the one thing I have to say is the effects and visuals to me actually make it feel like I'm watching a comic come to life in my hands. Gwen eventually disobeys Spider-Man's warnings and shows up anyway. They come up with a plan to overcharge Electro, and it works.
UGV 687.
Our celebrating doesn't last long as Harry makes his appearances as the Goblin, even though he looks more like Smeagol. After Harry talks about me betraying him, he snags up my girl and glides off to a clock tower. I do everything in my power to take down Harry while also keeping Gwen safe, but unfortunately, my luck isn't all that amazing.
What is your problem? Your Gwen? You do realize if you get a spin-off or a reboot, Gwen may be back. Ow! Stop hitting me! You're a fucking pansy.
I fucking hate you.
After an emotional death scene of our hero crying over his love, we jump to 5 months later where a man in the shadows visiting Harry and we promote the Sinister Six. The city is questioning where Spider-Man has disappeared to, and while looking through Gwen's stuff, Peter finds a video of Gwen's valedictorian speech that promotes hope and reminds Peter who he is and what he's supposed to be. Our movie ends with Alexei, the man from the beginning, has now become the Rhino and is terrorizing the city. Spider-Man makes his heroic re-debut as a child is trying to show his courage. Spider-Man then shows the Rhino why he is so amazing. So there you go, Amazing Spider-Man 2. While it's awesome to see Gwen die on the big screen, don't hit me.
Fuck you.
Either way, the potential that Marc Webb had may or may not happen now that Sony has announced a reboot and or no longer continuing the series.
That's right. When the fuck did I go from being a teenager to being a young adult to being an old man? In every reboot.
Either way,
that
loses a lot of
an aging potion.
That leaves a lot of potential that the story arc was creating out of everything, and it basically just turns into stuff that's not going to happen. Felicia turning into Black Cat, Rhino getting more screen time, and even the gentleman from the Sinister Six saga not actually going on big screen, which could have brought in Spider-Man's sister. Kitty. Yes, you have a
sister.
You have a sister.
Fuck?
You haven't read your own book?
I didn't write this.
I thought you lived it.
Not yet. That's the whole point of them needing to make it into the movie.
I'm your superhero critic.
And I'm Spider-Man!
I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.
Spider-Man!
Spider-Man does whatever the hero can't. If you think that movie was bad, wait until you see the torment that I'm going to exact upon you.